Welcome to Boxcars, War Machine and Horde's supplementary podcast for War Room PL YouTube channel.
You can find us online at www.warroom.pl. You will also find our blog there. Visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/warroompl for great video battle reports. You can also like our Facebook page for latest War Machine news under facebook.com/warroompl. If you have a small meta and want to develop as a player, or just try out different lists in international environment, you can play online on Vassal. It's free, but you can support developers by donating. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 35 of Boxcars. I am Marcin and I'm playing Minions.
And I'm Tomasz and I'm playing Circle and Minion.
Great. So you remember what you're playing this time? You're not so tired.
Actually, I am. I came back from a big tournament,
Yeah.
and it screwed my biological clock.
Yeah, it's I did get 2 nights sleep in between, but I still get like kind of jet lag or something like this, that I'm still not fully rested after those few days.
Yeah, me too.
So, I guess we are only human.
Yeah.
And it's not getting easier with age, so.
Yeah. And I was 10 hours in train back home.
Oh.
Yeah, so we went out of the train at 5 a.m. So it's hard to adjust back where I was before.
Yeah, back to reality and to the normal life clock.
Yeah, but I just had a coffee. It's my first time drinking coffee at 8 p.m.
All right. Yeah, me too. But I usually drink coffee so late, so.
Right. You're Batman.
Yeah. All right. So today we'll talk a bit about EU Masters that happened, and me and Rafa went to in between, and then a bit more about Szczecin Masters. So that happened this weekend, and I think it was a success according to people.
Yeah,
I
think
was an
so.
organizer, so I am a bit biased.
Yeah, but you did a great job. It was really great, even super organized, and the most beautiful tables I've ever seen in War Machine.
Okay. Thanks a lot, but looking from an organizer perspective, I was only thinking, God damn, I could have done much better.
Yeah, there's always
that feeling, right?
Yeah, when you're perfectionist. Yeah,
exactly. It sucks being so blue. Well. So before we go on, I will take a moment from our podcast time to thank everybody for coming to the event, and my supporting crew that helped me organizing the event. So Piotr helped or did organize the venue, and then together Piotr and Martini did help me set up everything, and then Martini stayed the first day helping running the event, and Simon came, so PP judge came for the whole 2 days and judged the event, and also helped it in running it. And then Marisha from Ace of Paints, she judged the painting competition, so a lot of people helping, and I think without them I would just definitely I couldn't play, and I'm a bad person this way, because when I organize event I want to play in it as well. I don't need to place high, but I really like to play in it because we don't get too many events in my region, so I want to,
Yeah,
enjoy
you're very
that.
passionate, and you had your input there, so you deserve to play in the event.
Yeah, so that was great that I had a bunch of people who contributed their time to help out. But also I want to thank the sponsors for sponsoring a lot of swag that we gave out for all the partitions. I think everybody left with something, and I hope also everybody is happy with what they got. It got a bit hectic at the prize ceremony because some people had to go for train and they were in a bit of rush. So Simon did prepare perfect packs of things to give out for each place, and on the way while he was giving them out, they were just mixed up. So everybody got something, but we don't really know what. But everything went what we had, and that was the idea to what we get a bunch of items for the players and we gave them out. So not making it too long. The first was Private Press, who did send a bunch of models to give out. So thanks for that. Then our local shop, Wrota, you can visit them at centrumfantastiki.pl, and you can also check the list on our Facebook. So they support us with prizes as well. Then Mini Monsters, and there was one of the tables that was recorded was with the buildings from their line. They make great buildings and pieces of for buildings, and making great objective and flag markers. So it's very cool. So visit them too. And then Terrains for Games. They made like 5 tables, the whole tables for the tournament, and 4 of them were recorded. So we will see soon how cool they are. And they will soon start a War Machine specific line. At least they told me so. So you can visit their website from time to time to check it if it's already active, or just see their current offer. Then Qualities and QualiGeeks, that's Simon's company, and he made a great precision measuring set for me, because I wanted a bigger one than everybody else is using, and I made a picture of that, and also he made a second one for the first prize. I guess you got it. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, don't spoil.
Yeah. So I was so happy with it, because the whole tournament I was using that tray, and everything was so in order. I didn't have to look for what I usually do is, I'm looking for a 5 or I'm looking for a 4, and everything is mixed up and lying on different. And with that, tray, I always take it out, put it in the place, and I very fast find what I need.
It's amazing.
Right? Yeah, it's very useful. And now I'm making Simon make a Mark II version, because I rarely use steppers, because I think they are great, precision, etc. But it's very occasional that I have to use them. So I rather have AOEs in there and a spray.
Yeah.
So if he can fit that, and maybe blast markers, if he can fit that, then that would be a perfect set. That would be Mark II of that, or a variation of that set. So, and it also fits a battle foam bag perfectly. So
yeah.
So I made a picture of that, because I was so happy with it, and it made like viral on internet, and everybody wants one now.
It not only fits in the battle foam bag, but it also protects the miniatures, because now even if you sit on the bag, you cannot squish it. at least from
Yeah.
sideways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's nice. Yeah, and then we got some prizes from AKs. That's a producer of magnetic model cases. So you can also drop by their shop if you're interested, if you have magnetized bases. And then we got a mat from Game.EU. I think everybody knows Game.EU is pretty popular. And of course, Warroom PL also sponsoring the event. So that's all the sponsoring talk for today. And we can
So
start
great
talking
episode.
about
Thank you for joining us, and see you.
Yeah, that was a short one because we had to do the sponsorship talk, and that's it. No, but the reality, we tried to get episode about EU Masters, but life got in the way, and it was always something happening that we couldn't get all together to make an episode. So I think it's a month right now since we recorded. So we will not go into detail, especially that Rafał, who was there with me, from technical reasons couldn't join us, but we decided to go on with the episode because if we don't record it now, then it will be another week probably. So I will not talk a lot about EU Masters. It deserves more time than we will contribute to it. But I didn't qualify, so I went there for LCQ, and I took Barnabas 2 and Maylog. And I wasn't sure about Maylog, but Rafał convinced me Maylog is great, so we will do fine. And game 1 of the LCQ and LCQ and all the tournaments were KO. So if you lost, you dropped out. Of course, you could and should play during the day because they had a system of you were recording games and got like tickets for prizes afterwards. So you could get prizes for just playing friendly games. So I played a lot of games during the weekend, but the first game I got Simon with I don't remember the name Simon, but he was playing Legion.
Oh, Simon Buttersby, I believe.
Exactly, yeah. Simon Buttersby. I didn't want to butcher the name, not remembering it exactly. So I got him, and he had Legion with Kalus.
And Anamak.
One and Anamak, yeah. And I didn't know any of those casters. I mean, I just only knew them from reading their card, and I never played against them. I only knew in theory that Barnabas is very bad versus Anamak, because Anamak can swing defense by -6. So I knew my high defense tech of Barnabas will not work, and he doesn't have anything else. So if that doesn't work, I decided I need to try Maylog and see if it works, and it didn't. It turns out Anamak has also a swing in armor and laughs at Maylog's high armor.
Yep.
So and it didn't help that I didn't start, because Anamak's plan is very similar to Maylog's plan. So run as hell forward very fast and lock the opponent out of the scenario. So while I was trying to push with Maylog and win on scenario and clear the zones, I couldn't do both. Meaning,
and who won the role to go first?
Yeah, so he won the role to go first, and he pushed forward, locked me out of scenario, and the stupid Hellmounts with the stupid tentacles didn't help, because they get like insane high armor with Impervious Flash. So everything looked very, very bad, and it turned out very, very bad because I lost on scenario without attrition going in his favor a bit, but it wouldn't be like game breaking if the problem was on scenario presence, because he positioned himself, pushed his forces on scenario edges and was cleaning the zones, and I wasn't even close to clear the zone to get in scenario, so I just lost. And so because of it was knocked out system, I didn't participate in the tournament anymore, so I got a bunch of friendly games with the guys that were there.
And Simon was playing in the finals, right?
Yeah, exactly. So he won he went from LCQ to the EU Masters, and he played in finals versus Marcin and lost. So he only lost to the winner. So I lost to so I feel a bit, how is it called, excused that I lost to a guy who lost to a winner.
Yeah.
And defeated everybody on the way. So that's a maybe better feeling than losing to somebody that lost next round, maybe. But nevertheless, I had a lot of fun, and it was a great event. The venue is very nice, although the internet is pretty bad, so the streams didn't work out and we were breaking constantly. So from technical point of view, we only had some recordings that we uploaded, but the venue itself is great because it's a pub with games and with war games, so pretty nice, and you've got like 20 beers in price of the ticket, so you can drink a lot.
Yeah.
I think more than most people are able and still play, but not everybody, it seems.
Yeah.
And
congrats to Marcin Mycek. He won
exactly.
the event, and I believe he took part in a podcast about mercenaries, because he played mercenaries, Astrum and Magnus probably.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he shared his thoughts about those in other podcasts, so you might check it out if you want.
Yeah, that was in tactical tips.
Yeah.
With Patrick Danford. Yeah, I just listened to that yesterday, I think. So that's why I remember. So I think it's definitely a great event. They invite all the masters or the champions from masters from each country every year, and they don't advertise very much, because I think they don't want that event to be too big, because they don't have space for a huge amount of people. But it's an event, it's on calendar also, it's on a weird spot, because I think it's a week after Welsh, and Welsh is 100 something people event, so not everybody wants to go to an event week after week, especially if it's one is in UK, one is in Czech. So that is what it is.
Yep.
But from my point of view, it's worth visiting. I was registered to Welsh. I wanted to go there, but the planes from my part of the world were really not even. It's not even about the price, but the time I would have to spend in planes, and there wasn't a return plane on any convenient time. So I decided, if I have a possibility to go to EU Masters a week later and use my car, and I have a travel time similar to what I would take with the plane to Welsh, but with the car I can decide whenever I go, and there is no rush in this way. I decided to go to EU Masters, so there is that. Okay. So let's maybe switch a topic and start talking about Szczecin Masters.
Total Annihilation Master.
Total Annihilations, yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually, I didn't come up with a better name, so we've got Total Annihilation.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah, it was total annihilation, at least for me.
Yeah.
On day one in the evening, I was so tired.
I feel it was total annihilation for all of us. Like the temperature inside, the weather was so, the temperature was so high. It was sunny as hell. It was like on a desert. So playing in such temperature is kind of a like survival.
Exactly. I mean, there is a heat wave in Poland for a couple of weeks now, and it just breaks usually for a day or two, and then there is a back to heat wave. And this weekend it was one of those weekends where it's really hot, and it was in a gym of a high school. It's decently big for this size of tournament. I think it's the size was okay, and so there was a ventilation system working, but they have these huge windows from I think north side. So around 12 or 1 o'clock, it starts really heating this gym up, right? And everybody can really feel it.
Yeah.
we had a table of swamp, and that table had a lot of water effects, and when that table heated up, some of those water effects started to be watery.
Oh no, they were melting.
I mean, this is also a problem with finishing up, because I think if that table, because not all of the water effects did melt a bit, just those that didn't have enough hardener added. I think that the mix was wrong. That's why they shouldn't act like this. But it wasn't that hot that they should melt. So.
All right.
But I will send it to be redone. But that just was a funny digression. So I think we can just talk a bit about the tournament itself. So my idea of the tournament, always when I was playing different wargaming, different war games, and now War Machine, was I like to play on the nice tables, or to get kind of immersion in the reality of the world. I don't really, especially I don't feel especially like fabular at that moment, but I just like when the table looks nice and the armies are painted, etc., etc. So I went out of my way to prepare all the tables. So when you come to the table, put your army on it, you just feel, okay, that looks really nice, and I really will enjoy playing on that table. So that doesn't feel like, I don't have anything against flat terrains, but they are very practical, but they don't give that the same feeling. You just come, okay, that's a game of almost a chess, and it doesn't really matter if it looks nice or not. This is wood, this is a building, and that's it. But I wanted people to feel something different when they come to the tables on my tournament, and I think from the feedback I got, I think I achieved that.
Yeah, you definitely did.
And also there was a huge screen, like 11 or 12 pages of forum screens, because before, when I announced the tournament, I stole the idea from Berlin Masters, that if you have a fully painted army, you get a +1 to your dice roll.
Starting roll, yeah.
For the starting roll, yes, exactly. That one, a very important roll, but not any other rolls. So and there was no fully painted army requirement. So if you want to come and play and you don't have a fully painted army or missing some pieces, you still can, but you will get some kind of penalized, or on the other way, other people who have painted army will have a bonus. And I think it was a lot of criticism to that idea, and I was stubborn like I am, and I kept it. And I think I archived because a lot of people either painted the army fully, or if they were missing some pieces, they just borrowed them.
Yeah.
And thanks to that, we had a lot of painted armies, and I think it just looked better.
Yeah, I haven't played against anyone without painted army. They were
Exactly.
all fully painted, including my. But I didn't use the bonus. I mean, I used this +1 to start in roll, but I lost, I believe, most of my rolls, like all of them.
Yeah, I was talking to a few people and asking, did the +1 matter? And they always said no, because if you start counting percentages, of course it matters in theory, but in reality it rarely happens on the table. And I had like 5 games and I rolled 5 times, and it never, either we had both sides had painted armies, or one opponent that didn't have a painted army, I rolled so poorly that the +1 bonus didn't help me at all.
Yeah.
So there is that. So we had so the idea was to have nice tables, and soon you will see videos from those games. The problem that I didn't foresee was that the gym or the school gym, it had a very bad
environment, wasn't really good.
Yeah, exactly, very bad. So it wasn't a huge tournament, but those, like, I think 25 to 26 people together with judges and all the supporting stuff made so high background noise that all the videos came out pretty badly, and I tried to remove at least some of the background noise is a bit better, but it's still painful to listen. And you had the idea
to record commentary
all of
and
them,
speed them up so people can watch them without spending too much time on them, to catch only the important things that happen during the game. And so it's easy, digestible, and nice to look at, because you've made the video quality really good, and the tables look really nice, and the miniatures are painted. So only the audio is missing there to be really quality battle report for the channel and for the community.
Exactly. And especially that lately there is a bit of radio silence on YouTube, I would say.
Yeah.
Not a lot of battle reports happening. All the usual channels, I don't know, taking a break or just are tired and don't put up so much content. So it will not happen from day to day, but we'll try to produce those. I think we recorded 25 videos. I think they are all intact, but I don't think we'll manage to get all the players to do a commentary, but I think most of them will. And once we got it, we'll be uploading them as they come.
Maybe we'll tag them with something so people can recognize that those are with commentary over them.
Exactly. And those that we don't get anybody to comment, I will just try to do some background noise reduction and put them up. Maybe somebody will be resilient enough to watch them still.
Yeah.
I get it that it's difficult to listen to them, and I also rather prefer the ones with the commentary instead of full games. So I understand everything, but we've got an idea how to go around that, right? You found a kind of solution of better mic that will not gather the whole tumult outside of the table.
Yeah.
Or at least we'll decrease that. So in the future we'll do better.
The quality will improve, right?
Yeah. We are not at least I am not professional at this, and each of us knows has a bit of knowledge, and it sometimes takes time and try after try to get to the quality better. All right, so maybe we'll talk a bit about our games.
Sure. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So game one, I managed to get to the nice, I don't know if nicest, but to the most impressive table. It was kind of high tech, stylized in convergence way table, and I was playing versus Homik. So round one, I get bricks, and he is a WTC player, so I was expecting that it won't be an easy match. And I played 2 times Barnabas versus Crix, and it's never an easy game. So I decided I will go with Rusk. It's because the popular term for Rusk is pivot lately. So he can always find a way if there is an opening. He can probably not easily go for scenario, but he can go for scenario through attrition. And if that fails, he can always try assassination. And that's how the game went. My opponent was playing Scar 3 with a bunch of statixes, and I was pushing hard forward aggressively, used my feet to cover my advance and do some attrition. But as it turned out, the high defense on those statixes and dodge and everything combined makes it difficult to attrition. Oh wait, it wasn't statics. That Vein Warrior.
Veins, yeah.
Yeah. So no, I'm mixing up the games now. I played versus Crix too much, so he had Banes. No, it wasn't the dodge. The problem was he was spaced correctly and kept his distances correctly. So I didn't do as much attrition before the feed as I wanted, but I managed to position pretty well, so he couldn't put Scar enough far back without giving me those 2 points for killboxing himself.
Killbox.
Yeah, and in the key moment he forgot to block enough landing spaces in front of Scar, and I used it and went for I think it was maybe 70% assassination or 65%. But the way the game was going, I thought that's my best chance, because long game would be his Bane Warriors with Order Recursion would probably kill off my War Beasts, and I would slowly lose.
Yeah, it usually works that way. I'm so happy you assassinated her. I mean, Homik is my teammate, but still I hate Scar so much that every time she dies, I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, Scar 3 is much easier to assassinate than Scar 1, because she's a huge base, so you can always see her at least, and it's so easy to hide Scar 1 behind some two stupid dudes, so you cannot see her.
Personally, I prefer assassinating Scar 1, just decaying all his stuff and, giving my army all the sight, instead of going for armor 18 or 19 battle engine with 26 boxes and deceleration.
All right, so how did your game 1 went?
My first game was against a Legion player. He had Lilith 1 and Lilith 3. I had my usual pairing. It was Bradigus and Kruger 2. So because it was my first game and I felt like I'm a bit tired and it was really hot, as I said, I decided to go with Bradigus because he's just easier to play. And I had the shield guards that have Fire Fury, so it's good against his guns. And he had Archangel and some fire guns. So I was like, I know that both lists are probably going to try assassination, so I can shield guard those important guns with high power from Archangel. and then I should be fine with few transfers. So yeah, so my opponent won the role to go first and took it. Scenario was Outlast, I believe, and I deployed my stuff back a bit from. Oh, he took Lilith pre, by the way, so I had to ignore a few inches from my advanced deploy because he can shoot my advanced deploy turn 1. So I've been cagey the whole game, and he ran forward, usual turn 1 stuff. I moved forward, but really cagey, not giving him anything. So in his turn, he said like he has no answer to my list, and he started to see that his chances are really low, and I kept a lot of transfers and shield guards around my caster. So he just sent in Carnivian with Spiny Grove and did the spray onto my army, but nothing really happened. He tried to kill the Sentry Stone, but he survived. So not really much. And in retaliation, I killed this Carnivian and still kept my caster and my stuff safe. And I haven't used my fit. So when I passed the clock, he started to tilt, and like the game turned out we started talking about all the things except the war machine, and the clock was going on, but we were just having some nice conversation. At this point he kind of resigned from the game. So when he got back, he decided just to have some fun and roll dices. He charged with Archangel to my World Watchers. He fit with Lilith and shot some of my stuff, but nothing really happened during this turn except my Sentry Stone dying. And when he passed the clock, I could put a Guardian into Lilith, so I didn't prolong the game. I just put a Guardian fit to push him into Lilith, and with Power and Strafe 23 and Mat 9, it was like pretty easy, I would say. So yeah, so Assassination turn 3, I believe. That was my first game, and it was pretty quick, so I could hide in the shadow somewhere to rest for another round. So how was your game 2?
Yeah, my game 2, I went against Jekan. He was playing Pom, and he had Vindictus and Harvey. He's popularizing at least his Harvey.
Yeah, so you this game was recorded, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I believe Matthew is going to do commentary for this game.
Yes.
And you should be able to see it really soon on the YouTube channel, War Room, our channel. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so he will tell his side, the boring side of Harvey, how Harvey does things, and I will tell exciting side of Barnabas.
Yeah. I believe he had some higher chances from the beginning because you were playing in this protectorate themed table.
Exactly. That was the mistake that we had this table. But in reality, for a very long time I haven't played versus Harvey. I think the last game I had versus Harvey in Mark II, and I only terrorized because I knew he would be coming with her, so I terrorized what to do and how to do it. And my theory was that Barnabas can try to do it, but just I didn't get my priorities straight, and because it was first time playing it, I lost on clock actually. So the attrition was going a bit in my favor, but that's generally Harvey's tactics, so you cannot say much about that. Scenario was like more or less equal. He was 1 point ahead, I think. But the problem was he was like 20 minutes ahead on clock, and that's a huge issue.
Yeah, his plan is always the same, and you just need to figure out how to work with the army.
So So the quick tips fighting against Harvey: be faster than she is.
Yeah.
I guess, and always switch clock whenever he thinks about martyrdom and does tough checks. That will save you maybe a minute or maybe two in a game. But just rolling all of those attacks is just taking so much time. And you always have to consider, do I boost now or don't I boost against that guy, and how to position so he doesn't escape, etc., etc. So that's an issue, and
Yeah, she's not supporting her army really well, I'd say. I mean, the martyrdom is a great support, but she's not buffing any stats, so the army is usually a bit weaker than with other casters. So
Yeah.
I think that going quicker against her instead of analyzing to maximize the output or the turn is usually a better way. And probably
Yeah, exactly.
going for a long game and not giving her up anything, because the early, when you have a lot of attacks, it's good, right? Because you put a lot of attacks and she runs out of martyrdoms. But late game, if she has like 10 martyrdoms, maybe not 10, but let's say 6 martyrdoms a turn, but you have like 6 attacks at a turn, she will just grind you out.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I was the attrition advantage I had was pretty good because I lost like 4 models, like
Yeah.
1 unit of Valkyries and how is he called, Totem Hunter. So really, I had all the advantages I could in attrition, and he lost like 50 points of his army, but it didn't help at all at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you generally have to know that will be his plan.
And you're blue,
But-
so
And the worst thing is, I don't think I could do better the second time I will be facing this list. I mean, I will probably do a bit better, but the outcome will be similar. I think that you need to like play 10 times this matchup to
I don't
really.
know. You know, I thought the same, but once you understand it and see it on the table, I think you can manage to do it.
Okay.
The first thing is now you know you need to be quick. So if you next time you're quicker, it's already a really good spot to be.
Yeah, true. That's true.
You will pass the clock for
So-
every martyrdom and every tough check, so that will save you some time and maybe take some time from Harby. So you know.
Yeah, I actually have a local player that was playing her. He doesn't play her lately, and he also has some things in life happening that forbid him to play a lot. But maybe I will get him to play it, or maybe I'll find somebody on Vassal. Anyway, that was my game 2, so I clocked out.
All right. So my game 2 was against Minion player. He had Jaga Jaga and Maylock. Maylock with Posse Spam and Jaga Jaga with 2 battle engines and a battle group built around like a gun line. It was in Will Work for Food, and Maylock was obviously in Blind Water Congregation. So I already played against this player, and he had in Iron Gauntlet qualifier, and he had the same lists, almost the same. I mean, there are some tweaks, but it was Jaga Jaga and Maylock as well. The last time I took Bradigus against his Maylock and I won, so I was pretty sure he's not going to choose Maylock this time, but I think Bradigus is good into both of his lists, so I took Bradigus again, and he took Jaga Jaga. He said the same thing, like he wasn't going to choose Maylock again. He wanted to choose Jaga Jaga now to see how how his other lists will do. So he won the role to go first. Like it will be usual in my games. And I chose the side. We were playing Recon 2, so 2 rectangular zones, 2 objectives, 2 flags. And Bradigus really loves this scenario. I think it's probably the best one from the whole package. So he moved forward. I moved forward a bit cagey. I didn't want him to shoot any of my stuff. And now he had this difficult question because I'm quite far away and there's a big forest to protect my army from the shooting. But he needs to put stuff in the zones. And in this scenario, you can score 5 points a turn. And Bradigus can do it because the only spot that will be really difficult to score will be his flag. So he needs something in 4 inches from the flag. So he put actually a lot of beasts in the zone in the edge of the zone to contest it, to prevent me from scoring. But he didn't calculate it how strong the Bradigus list hits, I think. And I just in return I just killed almost whole his army. He was left with battle engine, Dahlia without Scaraf, and his caster. So in return he just it was 4-0 for me. I didn't score the flag because I left the battle engine on a few boxes. So in the return, he just went to score some victory points to kill some of my support stuff and a single watcher. And that was the game because at the time he passed the clock, I scored the 5th and this actually the 6th point. So it was 6-0 for me and scenario win.
Okay.
All right. So how was your third game?
Yeah, the third game. So I need to say it was pretty hot the whole day. And third game, it started showing on my performance. So I got Crixos with Crix. I was thinking that this tournament would be a lot of Crix because we had like 6 players of Crix, I think.
6 or 7?
6 or 7, yeah, exactly, a lot. So he had, I don't remember.
The Negra 2 and
Coven. Coven, yeah. So he chose Coven, I chose Rask, and I was decently happy. And this is the game that I was thinking on previously because he had Coven with a bunch of Satixes. And now I can tell how it went. So I did. So I lost the roll, he went first, so he was on the middle of the table with those stupid Satixes. So I had to feed pretty early, or did I not? No, I did approach cautiously and then stayed outside of his threat ranges, I believe. I don't remember how it exactly went because I was so tired that I pressed that game out of my mind already. But I did like 2 huge mistakes, scenario play mistakes, and they really come and bite you in the ass in this scenario. So I was a second player and I did not contest the scenario pieces. So he scored 2, not 1, but 2 points on my turn, on my second turn. And I did a lot of attrition work, but not as much as I would like because of those stupid statistics having defense 14, so my beasts have to boost and etc. All the stupid things that I hate about defense 14 infantry. They die easily, but you have to hit them and they dodge and cheat all the time. So attrition wise it was okay, I would say. My beasts were like damaged a lot, but none of them died, and I killed a lot of Satixes, blah blah yada yada. But I was losing on scenario hard because on my turn I lost 2-0, 2 points, and then on his turn he scored another 2, so it was 4-0, and it was almost a point of no return. So I went for a crazy assassination. And what I needed is to roll an 11 on a boosted roll, and I did it. I killed 2 witches out of 3, and the last witch, to kill her over her focus stack, I needed to roll 11 on damage. So it was like 50-50 in the end, and I didn't pass it, and I lost on scenario because of that.
That's unfortunate, but
Yeah, I mean,
it was 50-50, so
yeah, so 50% in the end. I couldn't expect better chances after brain fart like that twice, because the first time I gave him 2 points, and then I pushed the attrition to the point I could have scored on his flag with my solo. But of course, I only contested his flag, although I killed everything around it, and I didn't run the solo on the flag. Yeah, exactly. And then I decided, okay, now I'm so stupid, I need to go for assassination. So I could have like dragged it a bit, and maybe killing the 2 witches would cripple, and killing a lot of statics would have crippled him. But I didn't get to that point because I lost on scenario. He just moved one model to contest the zone, the middle zone that I was scoring with Rask, and won.
Yeah,
so
but I'm really not surprised about the outcome, because, as you said, it was really hot, and it was like the third game that day, so it was the critical moment for each of us. My third round was against Trollblood player, and we were playing on a table that was a desert themed, and the lamp from that was next to camera to light up the table was really adding to the temperature. But anyways, I have a little experience into Trollbloods. I mean, I've played some games, but not enough to feel comfortable. So I just straight away asked my opponent what he would choose, and he said like, man, you're not going to choose Kruger, I'm sure, because I'm probably going for Kolgrima, and you have very little game there. So I said like, all right, man, let's see. And I chose Bradigus, and it was Spread the Net, as you said. So he won the role to go first. He went first. I chose the side with a nice wall for Bradigus, and he was really quick with his clock. I mean, his first turn was really quick. I positioned myself. I took probably around 10 minutes, and then in his following turn he was also very quick, and it felt like he have a plan from the beginning. He knew what he's going to do, and he knew how to do it. Like I felt like he already, knows like everything. He's moving his stuff so firmly, and I have no time to think in his turn about my turn. I didn't know what to do.
He has that matchup worked out, right?
Yeah, he said he played it already, and he passed the clock. And when he was moving his caster, I was like, "You're going to teleport her back, right?" And he said, No. I'm still. I just cast my spells, and I still didn't move. I was like, yeah, but you're going to move backwards, right? And he was like, no, I haven't moved her. So there was some maybe miscommunication going on. He didn't know what I was trying to say, and he passed the clock, and he left Kolgrima in range of 2 heavies with no transfers. So I really wanted to make this game short, and not because it was, like I said, really hot. So I just started my turn, did some measurements of irrelevant things. Like I measured things that couldn't happen because of order of activation and stuff. So a lot of mistakes during the planning phase. But eventually I just there was one model I had to kill to deliver my Guardian into Kolgrima. So eventually I just saw that I could teleport one Guardian to kill the solo that's protecting Kolgrima. and then port another Guardian, fit to push him into Colgrima, and then with Mat 9, power plus strength 23, and knockdown on a hit, it should be like, even if I like all Snake Eyes twice in this assassination, it wouldn't save Colgrima. So it was pretty easy and pretty quick game. Like, it ended up on assassination turn 2. So yeah, I felt like when I was talking with people around in this after this round, like most of the games were like ended up like this one. Like, so many mistakes were made everywhere because of the temperature and
Yeah, exactly. So that is one of the things that I would try to change, either maybe change either venue to have it with it's not hot there, or bring something to cover the windows. That would probably help, so the sun is not hitting so much.
Okay, Marcin, so how was your fourth game?
Yeah, the game 4, it was versus Pavel. He was playing Legion, and in his pair he had Fiana 2 and Targosh. And I haven't played
Targosh 1
Targosh.
or 2?
Targosh 1, yeah, the after CID version. So I didn't play that caster. I think I played it once on Vassal, and I didn't really remember what he's done.
Targosh
what he
1?
done.
Targosh 1
Yeah.
wasn't in CID. The second one was, I believe.
Okay, I think maybe it was.
Was it
Anyway,
the
it
one
was the one
who's
with
returning
our-
the beast, or the one?
Yes, exactly. The
Oh,
one
yeah,
that's
so
Return of the
Targosh 1.
Beast. Okay, but he's got Strange Aura, -2 Strange Aura, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, so he was playing him, and I chose Barnabas because I wanted to have some fun and play Barnabas, because at that point I was 2 losses, 1 win, so it didn't really matter what I play, and I really like playing Barnabas, and it turned out that it was a good matchup for Barnabas actually, because I managed to move forward in a brick formation of Barnaba with all the defenses. He was doing a bit of damage with his shooting, but with a lot of shield guards from Valkyries and sack pounds, he couldn't do like pointed damage to my war beasts, and I managed to pull his Typhoon with my pot, and I rolled 6 on the 6 inches, so I pulled him just in front of Barnabas, and Barnabas just went and ate him. So in the end, after a few rounds, I managed to table his forces completely. But I think that Pavel haven't played much versus minions, and especially versus Barnabas too, so he was unaware of many interactions that I have. He knew them in general, but it wasn't enough to be fair to play that matchup for him to full potential of his list. So he was a bit of disadvantaged at that. So I won in the end on. He gave up actually because he only had his caster and few supporting solos. And I killed like 106 of his points of his army.
All right.
Yeah, so that was my round 4.
All right. So my game needs a little background because it was in the second day, and after the first day, we went for a after party to have some beers and to talk. And we already know who we are going to play the next day. And I went for a beer with my opponent. So we were talking the whole evening how awkward our matchup is, because it's a bit of a list chicken situation, and the DNC makes it an ultimate list chicken because he has Coven with Satixis, which Kruger 2 just obliterates from the table, and he has Denegra 2, which Bradigus just destroys, because
you were playing Crixus, right?
Yeah, Chrysos. And but on the other hand, if he chooses Denegra 2, he has some chances against Kruger, and if he chooses Coven, he might have chances against Bradigus. So it was a bit of a list chicken situation, but the thing is, I was I already played Bradigus 3 times, so it would be wise to play Kruger to unlock for the finals if I manage to go there. So the next day, everyone that we were talking with was saying that that's obvious I'm going to choose Kruger, and but I know that my opponent's go-to list is actually the Negra 2. So I just went for the other semi-final table to see what's the matchup there, and they already roll who's going first. So I decided to risk it to put my money on the Protectorate player because he's a really good player. And if I'm paired in the finals with him, it's obvious I'm going to choose Kruger, and it's obvious he's going to choose Harbinger, and there's no other way. So I took Bradigus, and my opponent took Denegra 2, so I've made a good decision. And the game, actually, I think it was the first time I won the roll to go first, and it was a standoff scenario. I ran forward, he moved his stuff forward. In my turn, he did a good move because he gave me the Dev Jack, so I could kill him, but I needed to use my feet to do it, and I couldn't get to any other heavy in his list. So it was a gamble, because after the fifth turn, my threat ranges are a lot shorter than his. But I went with it. I killed the Devjack and decided it's not that bad because I have some beasts to protect Bradigus and to have some transfers because he's probably going for an assassination. I put Bradigus in a spot I felt is safe, and in his turn he started measuring stuff and thinking about assassination. He took like half an hour on his turn just to figure out what he's going to do, but eventually he said that there's no way he has chances for assassination. He couldn't put the Negra into Bradigus, so he just charged my stuff, but he managed to remove only single World Watcher from the table. So he passed the clock, and in my turn, I saw that the Negra is in range of a Guardian if I teleport him over the house that was in the middle of the table. So I went for the easy win, and I assassinated my opponent with a Guardian again. Like, another round and another Guardian porting into Warcaster of my opponent, and with power strength 23, it's like hard not to kill.
And ends badly very fast.
Yeah.
Tomasz?
All right. So how was your fifth game?
Yeah, the fifth game was actually a minion off. We fought. I faced Utes. That was the player you faced before. He had Jaga Jaga and Maylok, and I was pretty sure he will drop Maylok. Just because it is hard to chew through all those gators with the list I had, and he was pretty sure I will drop Barnabas, but I went for Rask. I don't know why, but I felt I want to try how Rask performs into gators, into Maylok's gators, and the matchup was pretty difficult. It's a struggle to kill them. You need like probably 2 boosted hits to bring one gator down. So your beasts or your war beasts go pretty hot, and and you cannot use primal because you need those beasts every turn to perform work, and of course you are limited in the how many damage buffs you can give your war beasts in general. So there is that. I managed to do a nice attrition turn, but a nice attrition turn versus Maelok is like 5 dead gators probably. and and then the next round I've seen that he's starting to push me out of scenario, but luckily surprisingly he didn't play a lot versus Rask, and he left his caster in range of my assassination run of 2 war beasts.
It's not hard to do it, like with your threat ranges.
Yeah, the threat ranges are large, but it's possible. He was just like 1 inch too close, and he didn't really need to be that close. Maelok can stand easily inch back, so I went for it. It was probably a pretty risky assassination. I mean, it evolved like activating 4 war beasts and bunch of solos to do buffs, and the caster included, so a lot of pieces, and you can make a mistake at each single piece. For example, I wanted to use a bear to throw away a dude, his war beast with Enliven, throw it away to be so it is knocked down and out of the way, but I had like 2 free strikes on the way, and he shut down my spirit from the bear. Fortunately, I had like plan B with I could use a squid to pull that war beast away with the tentacle. So then in the end I managed to do the assassination because Roche has a crit knockdown. So with the first hit I boosted the charge attack, and I got the crit knockdown. So it was the whole equation of hitting was out, so I only needed a damage, and I knew that with average damage I kill Maelok with one war beast, no problem. So I didn't actually have to activate the second war beast to try to do it.
All right.
So that was my 5th game, and I went for the tournament. So I finished the tournament with 3 wins and 2 losses.
All right. So my game, it was the finals against the Protectorate player from Let's Try POM blog, and he's the best player you can play the finals with, especially keeping in mind it was so hot there, and we were drinking the whole night before, and we were in the same hotel drinking vodka after party together. So a bit of tolerance to some mistakes was like necessary to go through this game, and for me it was a bit stressful as well because it was the finals, and I've played with Mateusz before. It was the same matchup. He had his Harbinger, I had my Kruger list. They were all the same. We are playing like a friendly game, I believe a month or 2 months before, and I lost that game on Assassination turn 2. So yeah, I was a bit afraid how it will go. So he won the roll to go first. He rolled 7. So he chose to go first. I chose the side, and he ran forward. He made his turn quite really quickly, and I tried to do the same to be quick, but I also didn't want to make any mistake because I had a plan for the game. I knew what I want to do, but the plan also made it a bit hard to act quickly because I had to think if my moves are the part of the plan I wanted to achieve. So in his second turn, he he moved his army position just for so I can't score a lot. Like he put a Kiki monk in between two zones. It was the pit 2, and behind the Kiki monk was the champion of the Order of the Wall. He's immune to push, so he put the Harbinger was behind the wall from Team Force, and the next to Harbinger there was a Covenant, so I couldn't do spells in 10 inches. So the positioning was really good, but the last thing he activated was the second champion of the Order of the Wall, and he forgot to put it behind Harbinger. He put it somewhere else. And when he passed the clock, I just made sure if everything that's close to Harby is pushable, that I can push with my feet. And the answer was yes. So I decided I'm going all in with assassination because I see it's pretty good high chances to do it because I can push her out of the wall. And the push was tricky because he has 3 shield guards in his list, and I needed to do a push in a good order. I mean, I needed to push a choir member, I believe, first, so he bumps into other choir member. Then I need to push Harbinger, so she bumps into choir member, because I wanted to push her away of the wall, but also I didn't want to push her too far because I need a range with my guns to her. So
I already see that mathematical equation going in the mind. So what's the angle, how to push it, where
it was
where
really
it's going to end up.
Yeah, it was really, it was really tricky, and the temperature was obviously high again, and we were tired. So we measured a lot of stuff. I put proxy base also for his warjack because I could I had an angle to push one of the shield guards away, but it was really awkward to find the spot, the exact spot for the jack, because I would need to also put a proxy base where Harby will be, and there were so many models. I couldn't do it comfortably to put a proxy base for everything. So I went, I just, said what I want to achieve. I made sure with my opponent that my thinking is correct, that if I do it in the order I presented, it will be fine. So we came to a conclusion, it will be. I proceed with the push, and now we see the warjack is actually in range for a shield guard. So Matthew is a great guy, and he didn't feel comfortable like letting this happen because he saw I was measuring this, and I was measuring it, but I said like, man, I screwed, so let's go with it. But he didn't feel comfortable, but I didn't feel comfortable, agreeing to his offer. So we just rolled the dice, and 4 plus, he has no shield guard. So I rolled 4, and he had no shield guard. We did the push of the other models, but it wasn't really important. The important thing was only the Harbinger away from the wall, and the fact that I was able to push Covenant 3 inches away, like full push, so I could easily cast my spells in range of Harby. So now I did a lot of mistakes, just deciding order of activation and how to spend my fury. And I started assassination with Gallows because I think my reasoning was that he cannot shield guard the Gallows, but it costed me 4 fury, so I would be much better shooting my gun. I managed to hit her once and do very little damage. My rolls were really low then. So the second went Waldward, and I believe Megalith should go second, cast Undergrowth and Trample Forward. But anyways, I went with the World, and now my rolls were better. I managed to scrape her of one of 2 focus she had, and I believe I used one of the 2 shield guards. Then I put a proxy for my battle engine, and my World Warden TK'd a second World Word. So the second World Word went in. I rolled probably average and did some damage into her. She was left with no focus and 5 damage boxes. So now my battle engine went, and I boosted my my spray for crit stationary. And here's another mistake, because I should do it before the World Word, because it would be easier to hit her when she's stationary. But anyways, I rolled poorly, and I rolled crit no hit. So the second gun was electric gun, and he shield guarded the gun. And with my last gun, I believe the fire gun, I managed to kill Harbinger. I was left with 2 activations, with Megalith with fully boosted Gallows, and the Warden with fully boosted Gallows or Lightning Storm, depending on what I would need. But anyways, the chances were so high that I could afford to do some mistakes. And yeah, my opponent was the first to make a mistake, and I recognized it, and I was lucky.
Yeah. So congratulations. That sounded like a sure win after he made the mistake of not putting a guy behind for no push.
Yeah, I think so. And it was funny because the whole, I mean, not the assassination, but the fact that I never did go into round 4 of any of my games. They all ended up turn 2 or 3 with 4 assassinations and 1 scenario victory. So yeah.
All right. Okay, so I think we need to wrap up. We have blabbered on long enough.
Yeah.
So thanks, Tomasz, for sharing, and we finally made another episode of our podcast. Let's hope the next one will not be in a month, just on a irregular schedule of every 2 weeks.
So thanks again for the event, for organizing it. It was great. I had a blast.
No problem.
And thanks for sharing your games too.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Okay, so bye.
Yeah, good night. See you.
Thank you for listening to Boxcars. I hope you liked it.